All right. We are back. I love this time of day because I get to hear all this good stuff. And today is a special occasion. I met my friend Jay a couple years back. We got introduced to a mutual friend and heard about what he was doing and how he's doing it. And God, if there is not a better story about doing good in a place where we need good, I don't know it. So I am thrilled to welcome everybody to meet my friend Jay Katari. Jay, tell us something good, brother.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And it's just you're always full of positivity and good news. And I'm excited to share some good news with your audience. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, when I met you, and I mean this, first of all, you're a great entrepreneur. You're involved in a bunch of different stuff, which always makes my toes tingle. But you have a passion play that you just shared with me is turning out to be a big business. And so you're taking all your entrepreneurial skills, matching it to your goodwill skills. So why don't you share with the audience a little bit about you, what you're doing, and why I think it's so good.
Okay, yeah, great, absolutely. So about, I guess, 3.5 years ago, well, I'm an entrepreneur. I own retail stores. I own some wholesale businesses. About 8-9 years ago, joined YPO, Young Presidents Organization, got on the board there. And something that was told to me that really struck me was, there's people in YPO that are identified by what they do, like they're the car guy or they're the sales guy, and and I was in the used clothing business. I have thrift stores, and am I identified by that, or am I an actual businessman? And I was like, I want to be a business guy. I want to be an entrepreneur. And to be honest, I didn't have the confidence that I could actually take my skills and apply it somewhere else and be successful. So it was, so one day my wife and I were talking about just how dissatisfied we were and disappointed we were in what was available for our son who has autism in the world of schools, therapy, just how we feel like sort of the system was broken. And I said to her, let's just do it. Let's start something. I think I'm a reasonably intelligent guy. I know my wife's super intelligent. Between the two of us, we should be able to do better, hopefully. So we decided we would open up a therapy business called My Favorite Therapists. And I did everything sort of backwards. I did not know what I was doing. Clearly, we lost a ton of money starting up, but we had that never quit mentality. And so we started a therapy center business, and we started off with 2 clients. And it was really interesting. Parents would come in as I toured them through with this big 8,000 square foot place with 2 kids in it and 2 employees.
I remember coming to that place early on, man.
It's hysterical. So how many people were there when you saw it?
Not many. Not many. You had dreams of filling it up, even with employees. You were like, oh, that's going to be this. That's going to be that. I was like, wow, man, good luck to you, brother.
Exactly. So we're like, my wife and I, we worked at it and we started trying to figure things out, asking lots of questions. Most people were not free flowing with answers. People were sort of protecting their intellectual property from employees to colleagues. No one wanted to share. So I joined the board of FAU Center for Autism and Related Disabilities. I joined the board of directors of Autism Speaks. I started joining boards to help, and hopefully through helping, I could meet good people and learn. And I met a lot of good people, but in a lot of cases, I was still the smartest guy in the room, which was the worst thing. I was like, God, I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. And so we just sort of started, I went to different conferences, and And before we knew it, we sort of grew from 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids, slowly growing, going broke the whole time, like just pouring money in. And we had that big hurricane, I guess about 3 years ago. And I said to my wife, I'm giving it 30 more days. If we don't turn this thing and have one profitable month, one break-even month, we're out. We're closing. And we were already into this thing for 7 figures. Wow. So it was really a scary time. And then things just started to turn, and we started getting clients, and people really liked our model, which was, it's applied behavior analysis, which is an evidence-based therapy covered by insurance. And I had to learn the insurance game. And then it was speech and OT, and they could get it all in one place, trying to copy the Cleveland Clinic model, like where you go there, your heart, your brain, everything you need, you can get it all in one place. So we started growing it and learning, and before we knew it, we just celebrated our 3rd year anniversary in May. We have 70 employees. We have about 65 clients. It's all covered by insurance. We got in network with everyone. I sort of use my salesmanship to talk, the BBB, the BBB theory, right? Am I allowed to say that on here?
Do it. Absolutely, man.
Bullshit baffles brains, right? If
I was hoping you'd say it, man. That's great.
So I was talking to United Healthcare. I know nothing. I'm a moron when it comes to this at this point. I'm like, we're the best thing since sliced bread. You need us more than we need you. These kids are benefiting from this program, and if you're not going to give us this much money per hour, we're just going to have to let these families know that we can't provide the services anymore. And it was like just throwing out a boomerang, hoping it would come back, and it came back. Timing, luck, God, I don't know what it was. And they gave me enough money per hour that I could actually make a profit. I was like, wow. And then we decided this is, and all of a sudden, and we did this as a pure passion project for our own kid. And then all of a sudden, private equity companies started calling, are you interested in selling? I'm like, sell what? Like, we got a few kids here, some therapists. Like, what are you even talking about? And then I start researching. I'm like, holy crap, we actually have a business that has value. And before we know it, we have now all these kids. We're still boutique enough that I know every kid, I know every client, and I have an open door policy. Parents come in, they cry in my office, they laugh in my office. Our team is fantastic, and we've built this company culture where our team members are our greatest reference. I mean, they're recruiting new team members. Clients are recruiting new clients, and they get nothing for it. And that's how I know that we're onto something. So now we're expanding it, and we're going into Palm Beach. We're opening up in West Palm Beach, and we're opening up in Orlando next month. So that's sort of the nickel tour of what we've done, and the team.
What we know is that unfortunately the numbers are staggering about how many kids have autism. Or, so I think, when I grew up, there was that kid that you said, oh, that kid's a little off. Well, that kid now is diagnosed as, some real, that it's a real situation. So where you are, where you're positioned, there's going to be more of that. So I'm curious. So first of all, congratulations, because, your ability to stick through it, and this happens in a lot of businesses. Just before there's the breakthrough, they quit and they go, and it's just the breakthrough is just on the other side of all of that. And so you did it. And that is the entrepreneurial spirit, which is amazing. And I love that. I'm curious. Obviously, the last 4 months have been upside down for everybody. Talk to us about how it's affected you, your family, your business. Because obviously you're growing and you're doing in a time when that's not happening universally. So I'm curious to what your keys to that are.
Wow, that's a big question. I appreciate that. So on the family front, it's been tough. Thankfully, my kids have found their groove, and my own children. I got a son who plays basketball 2 hours every morning, and then I got a boatload of kids in my pool every afternoon, and it's wonderful. And thankfully, no one's gotten sick, and I think that that's been really good. My son with autism goes to a camp in the afternoon for 3 hours. Most of the day, he's sort of stuck at home, like a lot of kids with autism. So that's where like we do come in. It's for their mental health, for their to not have that regression in skills. They need to be in some sort of a learning environment. And my wife and I going to work has been a blessing, just to be able to keep our sanity, seeing people. We're wearing masks, but we're still seeing people at work, and it's really been great for our mental health. So I think that I'm very fortunate that we do have some in-person contact at work. We still are open. Things took a dip right in March. We went from 40 kids in center down to 9. I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? The numbers don't work. We're going to have to lay people off. So again, entrepreneur, what do we do? How do we do it? And my first thought was, how does this affect the team? How are they feeling? Because it didn't really matter for me. I could shut down, ride it out, fortunately enough, and survive. But then we got these young people working for us, and they're scared. And this was a friend of mine named George Lemieux. You probably know George.
Yeah, George, sure. Yeah.
He's like, this is a time for leaders to lead. He said, don't think of yourself, think of them, do the right thing. And I was like, you should have run for office. He was a senator, but I mean, the guy's amazing. But he's like, this is the time to lead. And I came in and I told my team, a very dear friend of mine said, it's time to lead. So I'm here to talk about what's going on. Let's come up with a plan that works for both of us. I think I can talk families into coming back, explain to them our protocols and what we're doing to keep their children safe. And this is going to be a blip, but this is going to be a long-term problem that's not going away. So let's just get comfortable with it, get warm and fuzzy, get cozy with it, because it's not changing. And I think that a switch went off. They all rallied. I kept all their health insurance going no matter what. I said, even if we don't, as long as I can pay for that, I will pay for it, because God forbid you guys get sick. I mean, you need to have health insurance. So we kept that going. And we worked on trying to give everyone equal hours. So we're all in this together concept. And I said, like, this sucks for Kimmy and I, it sucks for you, but we're going to all going to be happy together or miserable together, but we're going to be together. And that's sort of that was the idea behind our first meeting. I can take you into what we're doing now, for safety. We provided masks to everyone. We have hand sanitizer bottles on every table that every kid works at. We have hourly protocols for washing down all of the tables every hour. The kids' hands have to be washed every hour. We have these Carbon X high-powered ultraviolet light systems in all of our air handlers that kills airborne viruses. We have our center. We have this fogger thing. The guy comes in and fogs every night with this product called BioEsk that kills off all viruses on contact, and he does that at night, and it sits the whole night. We have a cleaning crew come for 5 hours every night and clean the whole center from top to bottom. I mean, we have just protocols upon protocols, and we use the CDC. I leaned on doctor friends of mine to give me feedback and advice on what would be best practice, and then sort of took that and said, use some common sense. We can't do things, we're taking temperatures as people walk in. All that stuff is happening, and fortunately, touch wood, not one kid or therapist has had COVID since we started.
Oh man, I love it. I love, you brought up something that is so relevant to why I'm doing this. The show, the people that I have had on here, leaders are supposed to lead, and unfortunately, a lot of them put their head in the sand and said, "Oh shit, what are we going to do? We'll wait it out. We'll write." Which is, you never know what your leadership style is until you have to lead through a crisis like this. Mike Tyson did it great. He said, "You don't know what it's like. You don't have a plan until you get hit in the face," right? And this was a hit in the face. This was to everybody and everything. And the genesis of this was, hey, I want people to hear about stories like you, where you looked yourself in the mirror and you said, okay, whether it was a friend that prodded you or you did it yourself, this is go time, baby. I'm either going to do this, and your legacy is cemented by that, because people were looking to you, and those same people are going back to their tribe saying, hey, we got a guy, we got a gal that's really leading this. We need more of that. We need more of people who are willing to say whatever it takes, and I don't want to ramble on because I want this to be about you, but the reality is not everybody's in the same boat. This affected everybody, which is the first time in creation that everybody was affected, but we're not all in the same boat. We could be in this together, but people have different circumstances. And so I loved your answer. I just want to tell you that is a spot on answer and the main reason why I do this show. So thank you for that. In closing, what would you want to share with the audience of people who are struggling? They may have a kid. How do they get in touch with you? A kid that needs help. Like, what's the next step in someone making changes in their life that you can help?
Well, if someone has a child who is diagnosed with autism, they can definitely go to our website, check us out. We're not a Medicaid provider, so anything other than Medicaid, we do cover. We couldn't work under the parameters of the Medicaid model. It didn't work for us. But I'll even help direct those. If anyone wants to call me, if you have Medicaid, I'll help you get to a better place. I do it all the time. It's not about the money. I feel bad for that family that's sort of stuck and doesn't know how to get to the next step. So you go to our website, www.myfavoritherapists.com. Go on there, hit contact us. I'll help you if you don't have a diagnosis, but someone's telling you your child is showing red flags. Don't pay someone a ton of money to find out. To get a diagnosis. I can help direct you in an efficient, cost-effective way to help there. I love helping people. There's nothing more gratifying to me than helping people get to the next step and find support for their child. So please, by all means, anyone can reach out to me.
You're awesome. And I firmly believe this, that the reason why you're successful in what you're doing is that it's purpose-driven. There's a reason why you're doing it. It's not the money. You're entitled to make a living and do well at it. But what you're providing is so great. I can't wait till you come up to Palm Beach. Anything you need from us up here, I'm happy to help you drive people to it. I'm thrilled that we're reconnected, and just know that I'm here if you need my help. And thank you for really telling us something not only good, but great today.
Thank you so much, Steve. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you inviting me on.
You are awesome, man. More to come, man. Be good.
All right. Take care.